Hey, it's Laurie Cataldo, and I'm here with Brad from 94.3 The Point. So I found this article on the Asbury Park Press website. It was an editorial on why millennials can't handle marriage anymore. And as someone who just got engaged, I read it and was kind of, I don't want to say offended, but I just completely disagree with the article. And Brad here is also a millennial. You got engaged, or you got married rather, almost 2 years ago. So obviously you think that marriage can work for millennials. So we just wanted to kind of talk about the reasons why we do think that marriage can work for millennials, why it does work for people our age, and basically why everything listed in that editorial is just not accurate at all. So I guess we'll start with one of the first things that came up in that piece was that technology is ruining relationships.
Sure.
So do you think that, I mean, for your relationship, when it comes to like texting or social media kind of stuff, do you find that that's disconnected you guys at all?
I think it's disconnected people from each other as a whole, but he went a little extreme as far as personal relationships. I think a lot of it is just a choice of how you want to use technology. I know for me and my wife, we obviously use social media, we use technology. It is something that's involved in our lives, but it doesn't get in the way of our relationship in any way.
Right. It's the kind of thing where you have to make that conscious choice.
Exactly.
To contact your wife and to speak to her face to face, or if you go to dinner, you actually look at each other and you have the conversation. And I wrote in the article that my response letter that basically it's the same kind of thing that if you're out to dinner with friends, you can make that choice to look at your phone the whole time, which is completely rude.
Right.
Or you can engage with the person you're with. So I think it comes down to more of the fact that people that don't have good manners maybe aren't cut out for marriage. It's not so much about the actual millennial. It's just about the mindset.
I think so, yeah. It's your choice on how you want to use technology, how you want to interact and relate with other people. I mean, I've absolutely been at dinner with the cell phone, and I think
we all have.
Gently reminded, hey, put that phone down, and I don't get offended by it. I say, oh, you're right.
Right, I'm being a jerk. I'm not paying attention to you.
Exactly.
Which brings us to another point in that editorial that said that people have more of a desire for attention than they do to be loved. And I know even right now, like, you're not loving the fact that we're even doing this, because you're not an attention seeker. But
right.
Most people our age, we are putting a lot of stuff on Facebook. We're Snapchatting. We're going out to breakfast, and everything goes on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. How do you think that is the best way to make sure that the attention in your relationship is focused on each other and not just on ourselves?
Again, yeah, I think this again comes down to personal choices that you want to make. Married or not, you decide how you want to present yourself to your friends and to the world through social media. I don't think it's necessarily a hindrance. I mean, maybe it's because we're so involved in social media on a day-to-day basis, but I think you have to be level-headed when it comes to what you want to put out there.
And I think, listen, I'm a radio DJ. Nobody knows the desire for attention more than someone like me. Toddlers need constant attention. I don't need constant attention, and I'm not looking for constant attention from my partner. It's nice to have his attention, but that's not the end-all, be-all of our relationship, and I think that's a really important thing. If you're thinking about getting married, it's not just about you. It's about the partnership. I think that's such an important thing that a lot of people forget. It's not a me thing. It's not an I thing. Everything is we.
That's
I know
right.
In the wedding planning process, a lot of times I'm like, well, it's not what I want. It's like, oh, right. It's not just about me anymore.
That's correct. And that's not a millennial thing. That's generation after generation.
It's a marriage thing.
If you're not ready to commit to somebody like that, you're right. Marriage is not for you. But I don't think you should group a whole generation of people in.
And the same goes, there was another point made about how money now, finances, are really crippling. And I know I have tons of student loans. I know Desi has student loans. I think it's something that a lot of millennials are really struggling with, especially the job market isn't great. But don't you think that every generation has struggled with money and relationships?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's in debt nowadays. Everyone's been in debt for quite a long time. And I don't think marriage has anything to do with it. As long as you're smart about everything, you live within your means, like you said in your article, I think you can be happy and still be frugal if you want. Use money wisely.
Right, like our grandparents, our great-grandparents, they lived through the Depression. If that doesn't affect a marriage, I mean, I don't think we're living that much differently than they are. Maybe they didn't have student loans, but...
Mm-hmm. And again, I think everything comes down to personal choice. Everything we've said. If you want to choose to live outside your means and to make money an issue, you will choose to do that, and that will be a detriment.
All right, so ways that you can make marriage work if you are a millennial. Don't be a jerk. put your phone down, live within your means. It's all kind of realistic things that comes along with maturity and adulthood. And I think that's really what it comes down to. It's not a matter of what generation you're in. It's a matter of what mindset you're in. So I think maturity is the way to go.
I think so.
If you're a mature person, you can handle marriage. And I guess we'll both check back in a good 20 years. And we'll see if
I hope we're still right.
Way. Knock on wood that our marriages will both work out. I love your wife.
Oh, thank you.
So listen, if she can put up with you and Desi can put up with me, I think we'll be okay.
And I'm following your whole engagement process on the social media
That's
myself.
Right.
So
we'll be following it for hopefully many years to come. So
I hope it all works out for you, Laurie.
Thank you. Thanks for checking out our story today. And of course, we'll have more at 943thepoint.com.